Welcome to the new episode of South Sound Business Report with a look at business networking. Stick around, let's get connected. Hello, I'm Jeff Rouse. Thanks for being with us on this episode. Today we're going to talk about networking for businesses. And I don't mean the kind that has cables and connectors. Yes, we are putting things together, we're putting people together. My co-host Holly Smith-Peterson has this example of business networking.
Today we're visiting with Tony Salas, Executive Director for the Lacey Chamber of Commerce. Tell us in a nutshell, what is the role of a Chamber of Commerce for businesses?
Chambers of Commerce exist for a number of reasons. One is networking, getting businesses connected with each other so that they can hopefully work toward doing businesses with each other, keeping our money local. We also provide advocacy, so when there are certain rules or laws or ordinances that are being considered by any of the jurisdictions, a lot of times the City Council or the County Commission will come asking our input on what type of impact are these rules or laws going to have on the business community, and how are the business community going to react to them.
So it's basically an umbrella and a support system as well.
Exactly. Okay,
what kind of businesses are in the Chamber of Commerce?
We have a wide variety of businesses. We have large businesses such as the Target Warehouse, Earth Friendly Products, Cabela's, Puget Sound Energy. But 80% of our membership is small businesses, those local businesses that really are the backbone of the economic recovery that's coming. Those businesses end up employing the majority of the people in Lacey and all around Thurston County.
Now, your membership has grown since you became Executive Director last year. Tell us how that happened. How many members do you have now compared to then, and what were the methods that were used to do that?
Our membership, when I took over as Executive Director, we were at about 286 members. We have grown in that 15-month period to 351 members. A lot of it has been a result of the networking that we do. Our board has been involved, our membership has been involved, but a significant number of them, we began October of last year, a networking group that we call Lacey Bang. It stands for Business and Networking Group. And we can attribute 30 to 35 new members just as a result of that growth, of that new members have come as a result of starting those networking groups where businesses and business representatives get an opportunity to meet one-on-one, get to know each other better, because people still, like they did in the old days, want to do business, that people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And that's an opportunity for businesses to do that with each other.
What kind of businesses would you like to reach? Are there any groups that aren't included right now that need some outreach?
We have a good base when it comes to two of the more natural, with that being restaurants and retail, but I don't think that we have a good enough representation, or I should say a large enough representation from those two areas. Another aspect of the business community that seems to have moved away from chamber and from networking in general are the are the professionals, the doctors, dentists, lawyers, chiropractors, the healthcare profession in general, and the profession or the professional level seem to have, while they're very, very heavily involved with the Chamber of Commerce in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they're looking at other means of getting their message out and developing their clients and relationships. So
how can you reach them? What are some methods, and what are you looking at in the future as far as reaching out to your chamber members and more?
Well, how we can reach the professionals is to make sure that the message that we're sending and the activities that we're doing are relevant to them. They need to feel that they have support within the chamber, and so we continually look at what we do and find ways to help make it relevant and pertinent to what they're going through. As far as how we reach out to our other members, we still have a print edition of a monthly newsletter that goes out. We also do that in an electronic format, so we're able to reach people who want to have both mediums available to them. We're continuing to develop and refine our web base, our website. We're also looking at other avenues like mobile applications, mobile websites, more electronic reach, because the young professionals now are less paper-based and significantly more technology-based.
So basically you need to keep relevant.
Just like every business, yes, we do.
And networking is a huge part of that.
It is, it is. People still want to have that face-to-face touch.
Absolutely. Tony, Salas, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Holly.
And now from businesses who are brought together by their business to others that are brought together by commonalities such as age.
Amy Condon is an attorney here in Tacoma with the firm of Welch and Condon. She's also president of YPN. What is YPN?
The Young Professionals Network of Tacoma Pierce County.
Well, that's good because this program is about networking. So we're going to find out what that is. With her and me is Jordan Ford, and you are the Business Operations Manager of Alternative Back Care Therapy?
Physical therapy.
Physical therapy. Thank you. And you are the, what with YPN?
I am the networking committee chair.
Okay. What do, tell me about Young Professionals Network.
Well, the Young Professionals Network is a group of about 70 right now, active members, and we have three main sections. We have a philanthropy section, and we have a leadership section and networking, which Jordan does, and she can talk a little bit more about what she does. But the philanthropy section has about an event a month, and they typically backpack on somebody else's event, and we get volunteers together. And
so philanthropy, in my understanding, is about money. I'm guessing this is about service?
correct.
Okay. So your members get together and apply themselves to a service project?
Correct. So the last one we did was the Green Tacoma Day, and we went out and planted trees in a park.
Great, great. And networking is the emphasis of the program. That happens to be your committee. Give me an example of some things that YPN has done in the networking sense.
We actually did a speed networking event where everyone just brought business cards. We provided a short list of questions in case you weren't sure of what to ask.
Right.
And I had a little timer bell, and every 2 minutes we would switch. And that was actually turned out really well. And we do a lot of other events, like we've done go-kart racing, we've done, we do an annual holiday party, we did a camping trip this year, we've done.
So you're networking among other members of the group. What's the age limit for YPN?
40.
40. Okay. So you've got a range probably of 20 years, from 20 to 40. And what is the goal of the networking? Have fun? Make connections? Are you looking for business with each other, or is it something stepping back from a direct sale?
Well, honestly, I think, at least with me personally, all the best networking I've ever done is by making a personal connection with the person whose services you could use. And so I think, if I ever need a lawyer, I have a personal relationship with Amy. I know she'd help me. I know she'd give me great service, but I also get to know her on a personal level. And I think that YPN does a really good job at creating those personal connections as well as professional connections.
Are you finding, Amy, now by virtue of being elected president, I'm gathering you've been in the YPN group for a longer period of time. Have you gotten to know a good number of people?
I feel like I know all of the really active members on a pretty well, actually. And I think that if any member showed up, I would know their name or know who they were.
What do you get out of it as a professional, as a legal professional, as a lawyer? Are you looking for business? Is that why you came to YPN?
I didn't come to YPN looking for clients. I don't really, if I got a client out of it, that would be great, but I came looking for a personal connection. I moved to Tacoma in 2008, and I didn't really know that many people, so I joined the group in hopes of making friends my age. And then it's been a really great way to meet young professionals that I feel like I have something in common with, whether it's, you know, camping or going out and volunteering at the Emergency Food Network or something.
There's a common interest because you have all stepped forward and joined the group or come to the group, so there is that common connection.
And I think all the members are very driven individuals who I think really are looking for that personal as well as professional connection. I think it is hard as a young professional to find people who you could connect with on a personal level.
I mean, you can go to a bar and you'll meet people, but there's probably very little filtering in terms of who you're going to meet. So a business group like YPN probably makes sense from that standpoint.
Right, and you know, I have other professional organizations through attorney groups, bar associations, and I don't feel like I get the personal connection with those that I do with YPN. Those are more work-oriented, looking, you know, how to build clients and get out and, you know, build your business, but not really, you know, let's go out and, you know, have dinner after work and.
Right. I think this would be a fun group, but unfortunately I don't qualify. Have you lost members because they got too old?
We're only about 4.5 years old, so we haven't actually lost anybody yet due to them aging out. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jordan and Amy, for sharing the story of Young Professionals Network here in the South Sound area. So far, we've considered the more business-related organizations like the Chamber of Commerce and now YPN, which is an age-related thing. There's another important part of business networking that's focused around service.
Rotary clubs like this one, which has been meeting every Thursday at noon in downtown Tacoma for 112 years, Lions and Kiwanis clubs are other local service organizations. They exist because their members, business and nonprofit leaders as well as retirees and others in the community, are dedicated to helping neighbors, and they like to do this work together. Their definition of neighborhood sometimes means the world. In addition to South Sound banks and literacy efforts in elementary school classrooms, Rotary Club of Tacoma No. 8 also has ongoing projects to bring clean water to towns in Ethiopia and relief to orphanages in India and Croatia. Rotarians around the world are also leading the way to end polio, thanks in part to financial assistance from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This organization is working to provide vaccines for very young children wherever they are in the world. Once a crippling disease, there are now less than 1,500 cases of polio in the world today. Rotarians like to say, we are this close to ending polio. Here's a report.
Since the mid-1980s, Rotary International's Polio Plus program has fought to eradicate polio worldwide. Working with its partners in the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, raising and deploying hundreds of millions of dollars and relying on tens of thousands of tireless volunteers, the international humanitarian organization has helped immunize more than 2 billion children. Polio cases have declined more than 99%, and the number of polio endemic countries has dropped from 125 to only 4. So, several times a year, Rotary's National Polio Plus Committee in India stages immunization days, often covering as much as 70% of the country. group of American Rotary Club members visited India during one such event.
My wife Charlene said one day, we've given a lot of money, our district has, but we've never seen this thing, and we've never been there.
What they witnessed took their breath away. In Uttar Pradesh alone, health workers dispensed polio vaccine at more than 100,000 immunization booths. In the industrial city of Moradabad, the city's 13 Rotary clubs sponsored 65 booths and provided support to more than 2,800 others.
It's incredible. With not too many dollars, these Rotarians and our partners in the World Health Organization, with UNICEF and the state of India are doing a tremendous job, very effectively, very efficiently.
And I am proud of my Rotarians of this district of Moradabad. They are working very hard. They are working very hard.
I watched a father bring his baby this morning to be immunized. After that was done, he shook each of the Rotarians' hands, shook their hand, and put his hand to his heart, as if to say thank you for saving this child.
By the end of Booth Day, more than 17 million infants and children had been immunized in Uttar Pradesh alone. Still, that left more than half unaccounted for. So, for the next 6 days, teams of government health workers visited every house in every village in Uttar Pradesh.
They have 125,000 workers who are going from door to door in the entire state. The figures are mind-boggling.
When the week was over, as many as 136 million children had been immunized. And the dream of Rotary's Polio Plus campaign, happy, healthy children in a polio-free India, was still very much alive.
Before the break, Holly was talking about business networking groups that were based around service. Now we're going back to more pure business networking for business, and this is David Reynolds. He's an employee of ADT here in the Tacoma office, and he's the president of Network of Tacoma.
That's correct.
Which is focused around what?
We are networking, but at the same time we're interested in friendship. So we give referrals and receive referrals as well as build friendships with the people that are in our organization.
And how many members of it?
Currently there's 21 members, but it fluctuates. It's been as few as 15, but we've had as many as 40.
I would think on a exchange of referrals that bigger isn't necessarily better. There must be an optimal size.
We focus on quality more than quantity. The quality of referrals for us is a person or a business who is expecting a call from one of the members. So for example, if I'm with ADT and somebody gives me a referral, that person is expecting my call and they are welcoming me into their business or their home.
Because you have been, in effect, vouched for by somebody that they know.
That's correct.
And presumably they have a need for services like your company could provide.
That is correct.
What kind of referrals might you bring to other members of the group? Tell me about the diversity. What kind of companies are in?
We have a person who works at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. He's got a store up in the Tacoma Mall. Okay. We have people who are painters. We have people who are bookkeepers. We have people who do things, planning. And we have many different places. And so if I go someplace to a family gathering, or if I go to any place there's people and they say, boy, I sure need somebody to take care of my books. I happen to have a card here. Here you go. I vouch for them. I've known them for X number of years. You expect their call.
Okay. So it really is, you said there's a social aspect to it. Yes. Also. I would assume in business you take care of business and then you also get to know each other and socialize. Are there organized social functions?
Yes, we have 2 mixers every year, one in the fall and one in the spring, where we use this facility and we invite as many guests as we can to come and just socialize and see what the network's about, get to know each other, and finally give them opportunity to join the group. We also go to a Tacoma Rainiers baseball game as a group just to hang out and fellowship, and there's many of the people who've actually bonded together as friends who spend time together on the weekends or afterwards just because they want to hang out together.
Your particular leads type organization, Network of Tacoma, does it meet how frequently?
We meet every Wednesday from 11:30 to 1 for lunch, and we have a set program that we run, and we go through, each person gives a 30-second commercial for themselves.
I was going to say, how are you going to know who else is in the group? Because there's been a new entry, or maybe you missed the meeting when they were introduced.
Right. We pass around all of our business cards, and each person has 30 seconds to talk about who they are, what their business is, and what would be a good referral for them.
Have you seen business come your way because of this?
Yes, very much so. In the last year, we've had over $50,000 in reported revenue to our group, which is a tremendous thing. So, yeah, and I think in the last year, I've had 7 or 8 referrals that have turned into business for me.
Oh, that's great. And presumably, you must be doing your your part too, or they wouldn't have elected you president.
Yes, we have a rule in our group that we share at least 2 referrals to somebody else in the group per month.
Okay.
And that really is not that difficult to do when you see all the different people in our group, and then they in turn receive or give referrals back to me.
Everybody in business operates in a circle of influence or a circle of contacts, and they're going to know they're focusing on what they may be able to provide, but they're also, as you say, going to trip over somebody who needs a chiropractor or somebody who needs an alarm system or whatever.
Yes, we have certain people in the group fit better with what my particular business is as they help out. For example, we have a person in our group who is they work with real estate. And if they sell somebody a house, it has an alarm or needs an alarm, they'll contact me.
You can be the one to provide the monitoring service. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very
David
welcome.
Reynolds, Network of Tacoma. Our co-host, Holly Smith-Peterson, now has joined in with another networking group. It has a decidedly different specific connection in addition to business. Holly?
Now we're talking with 2 chairwomen from the Alliance of Women-Owned Businesses. This is Jill Newmeister, Chair of the Marketing Committee, and Mary Lou Guinn, Chair of the Membership Committee. Let's start with Jill. What was the original reason for creating the Alliance of Women-Owned Businesses?
Well, there probably were many reasons, but one overwhelming reason probably was because the recession was really hard on everyone. In 2007, there were about 29% of all women-owned all businesses were women-owned. Today, we do know that 70% of all new businesses are being created by women. And that number is growing. So we know that there's a need for women to make a difference in the business world. Now, women are adaptive and they're also very, very resilient. So during that 2010 stage, I think women were evolving their businesses, so it only makes sense that there was a new type of business organization that was created, and it was AWOB. And it's not a networking organization or a trade organization. It's really a community of women, and the best part, it's not virtual.
Well, I'd like to talk about exactly what do you do.
Well, we are a community of women that come together to support each other and to learn from each other and to learn together. So we are a group of peers that are women business owners that are an alliance, and so they get together monthly and they get together for educational programs, and they are a community that really is there to support each other.
So education is your focus. Who are your members?
Well, our members vary from entrepreneurs to other individuals in our community, such as attorneys, financial investments individuals, and then let's see, who else do we have? Realtors. We really have a variety of women. Manufacturers, and of course the entrepreneur. And so we all come together and we find that we have the same kind of business issues. It just depends on whether you have a staff in a retail site or if you run your business out of your home.
So what kind of support do you provide for these women business owners?
Well, for one thing, women when you own your own business and you're working really hard in your business, you tend to get isolated. So what this does is it gives you a community of people that care about the same things as you. So you
Like
can
a network of people.
Yeah, so you can talk about those same things that are bothering you. And women, when you get more than one woman in a room, those women will try to solve problems. And that's really what happens. So you find a lot of encouragement. You find a lot of people that have great ideas for your business. And that's really a powerful thing.
Let's talk about, is there, before 2007, 2008, a lot of businesses were dying. Today, are you growing?
Absolutely. There is a need for this group. There are more business women out there that are trying to make a difference because maybe their spouse or someone in their family has lost a job, or if they've lost a job, so they're doing something new. These women need a place to meet, to be encouraged, to be motivated, and to get educated. Many women don't have the skills or know how to create a business plan, how to use social media for their business.
Can you tell me about the growth?
Our growth is very exciting. We've been growing by leaps and bounds. Right now we're at 98 members.
From a start of...
And we started back at 10 or 12.
About 60 last year.
Oh, for last year, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
good.
so
I mean, in the beginning, you started
in the
with
very
about
beginning,
10, yeah.
it was just, half a dozen or
And
so.
you said per month your membership is
Our
growing?
membership is growing consistently, and we just had our membership drive. We do that every fall. We're really excited about this organization because women are inviting their friends and telling them about the group, and it's just spreading. It's a natural spread where someone says, please come and join me. This was really fun. I think this could help your business too.
Well, that's fantastic, and we really appreciate you being here. We love it that there's something to support women out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. For information about any of the organizations that we've shared with you on this week's program, check our website, businessexaminer.com/SSBR. It's now 5:30 on this Thursday evening, and I only have one more business networking activity to do tonight, meeting of the Gig Harbor Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank Richard Aronson, Mobility Media Design, for his production on today's program, and invite you to join us again next week for South Sound Business Report. Check me in.